One day, while Arjun was driving his SUV through the Bandipur National Park in India, he noticed something unusual just a few meters ahead of him. A lone elephant stood there, motionless. Arjun was a veterinarian who regularly patrolled the large wildlife sanctuary. He loved his job immensely because it allowed him to spend a lot of time with a wide variety of animals. Also, he never knew what challenges would await him as he traveled through the vast reserve. The veterinarian had a simple routine at work. He spent most of his mornings checking on all the animals and examining them for any changes or abnormalities. But this case was different. The elephant remained by itself, while its herd was nowhere to be seen. Arjun immediately sensed that something was wrong. He knew it was better not to get too close to the elephant, so he parked his car and waited. Meanwhile, he wondered why the animal was standing there all alone. It was very unusual. Could it have been separated from its herd and now it was patiently waiting for their return? Experts have discovered that elephants sometimes go to specific locations to wait for their herd members in the hope of reuniting. Arjun waited patiently in the car, keeping a close watch on the situation. Minutes turned into an hour. At that point, he noticed that the elephant was completely calm. It didn't move its ears or its tail, not even the slightest movement. Normally, elephants at rest often swish their tails to keep flies away or move their ears toward new sources of noise. But this elephant remained completely still. The doctor, feeling tired, was tempted to head back home and leave the elephant behind. But something inside him made him want to stay. Fortunately, he did because after a closer examination, Arjun soon realized that something was wrong with this solitary elephant. He couldn't figure out what it was from a distance, but his years of experience triggered a red flag in his mind. His heart rate quickened and an uncomfortable feeling settled in his stomach. What if the animal was badly injured, or worse, what if it was too late to help? These thoughts kept haunting him, and he knew he had to act quickly. So, he decided to approach and investigate. Aware of the danger his decision carried, Arjun approached cautiously. He drove as slowly as possible, trying not to startle the animal. The elephant lifted its head when it heard the car door close. Arjun froze, unsure of how the powerful animal would react. However, the elephant remained calm, so Arjun stayed in place until the elephant lost interest in him and turned away. Normally, that would have been the moment to turn around and head home. But for some inexplicable reason, Arjun felt drawn to the elephant. He leaned against the car and waited for a bit until the elephant turned. Then he got out of the vehicle and walked toward the giant animal on foot, binoculars in hand. This way, he could observe what was happening without getting too close to the elephant. But what he saw next shocked him. When the lens finally focused, Arjun was alerted. Even from a distance, he could see that the animal was desperately crying for help. Tears streamed down its face, leaving dark streaks beneath its large eyes. In a hurry, the worried Arjun called the medical team, telling them what he had seen. Now that the veterinarian finally understood what was wrong with the animal, he was very grateful he had trusted his instincts. If he had left, he might never have known that this elephant was in desperate need of help. Overwhelmed by the sudden need to help the elephant as quickly as possible, Arjun put aside his fear and walked toward it. The last thing he wanted to do was scare the animal further, so he approached very slowly. Until he got close to the elephant, the animal did nothing but look at him with a sad gaze. Arjun swallowed his emotions as he made eye contact with the elephant. It was evident that the animal was suffering greatly. It was truly heartbreaking to see. At that moment, Arjun felt helpless, but he knew that the most important thing now was to gain the elephant's trust. But how could he make the enormous animal understand that he meant no harm and that he wanted to help? Not knowing what to do, the worried man knelt a few meters from the elephant and spoke some comforting words. Naturally, the animal couldn't understand what he was saying, but with his years of experience working with animals, he knew that often, from the tone of his voice, feelings and intentions could be recognized. True to his experience, Arjun could see his tall friend relax physically, so he continued to calm him with his words while they waited for help. Then something incredible happened. The elephant knelt down and seemed to place its full trust in the man. After about 30 minutes of waiting, Arjun noticed two vehicles with medical staff approaching. He was relieved that the elephant would soon be treated and, hopefully, its suffering would come to an end. As the rescue team got closer, Arjun stood up and walked toward them. He explained what he had seen and showed them. When they saw what had prompted him to call for help, they too were completely shocked. They had never encountered anything like this before. The elephant had a huge abscess on its rear end, and they could only imagine the excruciating pain it was in. The medical team immediately got to work. They started to calm the enormous animal. However, due to its massive size and weight, they couldn't transport it to the clinic. When the medical team noticed that the animal was fully sedated, they immediately sprang into action. They exposed the abscess, administered medication, and began the sedative treatment. They worked quickly because the elephant could wake up from anesthesia at any moment and charge at them out of fear. Just as they were finishing the medical procedure, Arjun noticed that the elephant was starting to stir. They quickly completed the treatment and went back to their vehicles, parked a few meters away. Everyone watched as the elephant slowly got to its feet, trying to regain balance on its legs. When it remained still and silent for several minutes, they began to fear that something had gone wrong. But after a while, the elephant began to sway its tail slowly to signal to the team that they had done a good job. Everyone cheered when they saw this, and they decided to return the next day for a follow-up treatment. But just as they were about to start their cars, something unexpected happened. The massive animal slowly approached them. All the team members were tense as it neared, but they remained seated, hoping the elephant would pass by. The giant walked past the medical team's vehicles and went straight toward Arjun's car. When the elephant reached his window, it extended its trunk and wrapped it around the man. This gesture shocked all the team members because it seemed like the elephant was thanking Arjun for helping it. This magical moment brought tears to everyone present, especially Arjun. After a few minutes, the elephant quietly walked away as the people watched in awe, grateful for the unforgettable experience.